Howdy, howdy, hey, her, and welcome to Fantasy Fanfellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your assistant to the regional Hayden and lover of all things fantasy.
And we are here today to dive so deep into chapters 12 through 18 of Brandon Sanderson's Well of Ascension. A quick reminder, I am serving as your professor of all things Sanderson to not only the audience, dear listener, but also to Steven, because this is the first time that he is reading the first Mistborn trilogy.
So that means this podcast will only have spoilers for the chapters we read each episode, which means if you've finished Mistborn and are just now starting Well of Ascension, getting your feet wet, this is the podcast for you.
And apparently, Steven, I've learned that this is also a podcast for people who have read ahead past Well of Ascension and are enjoying you struggle through trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah,
I read a comment today on a video we made, and they're like, oh, I finished the book before Steven so I could side with Hayden. And you know what? That's fair. That's fair, commenter.
I love that they were treating this like it's some kind of like divorce or acrimonious marriage now.
Oh, that's... Hopefully we don't get divorced, Hayden. I love our friendship.
Yeah, I like it too. You're on thin ice.
I said love it. You said like it. Now I can say... Is that foreshadowing our future? Are you being vague again?
If anybody saw our the stream that we did with the rest of the Fantasy Fangirls Network people yesterday, we got feisty for some reason. I don't know why, but...
It was fun.
Speaking of, as of last week, we are officially part of the Fantasy Fan Club. Now, what does that mean, you might be asking? Well, it means if you are looking for a way to directly support this show, you now have a way to do that. So what is the Fantasy Fan Club? Well, it's your one-stop shop for all things exclusive content on the Fantasy Fangirls Media Network. And there is a tier specifically for the Fantasy Fanfellas. So that means for $8 a month, you can join the One of the Fellas tier, where you will get access to a private Discord community where you can connect with fellow fans and Steven and I. You'll also be added to our close friends stories on Instagram for behind-the-scenes peeks at what goes on day to day for both of us. And you'll also get a code for 20% off all Fantasy Fanfellas merch. Plus, you can join Steven and I for a monthly community event where we'll do things like live Q&As and general shenanigans that will be happening on the first Wednesday of every month.
And if you call right now, you will have access to Hayden's only allomancy website.
Only Mistings, yeah.
Onlymistings.com.
We did mention the idea of a feet pics Q&A for the first one, so stay tuned for that.
Please don't.
And lastly, you'll also get each episode of Fantasy Fanfellas not only a day early, but you'll also get them ad-free.
Amen to that.
So, check out the link in the description to join us for all of the fun. Okay, Steven, it's your time. Please, burn your medals.
Ka-chink.
And let us know, from your perspective, what happened in chapters 12 through 18 of Well of Ascension.
Chapter 12. Pastor Sazed and Marsh Unmellow Eyes are together walking around a building, and Sazed is recording everything he sees into his copper mind, which keeps you from forgetting anything, like a notes app or a woman. And then Sazed finds something with one of our epigraphs on it. It's Quan! So he's like, give me Quan minute, Marshy, and he copies it all down. Chapter 13. Vin and our Cannibalandra are playing a game of Alamantic Among Us. They're trying to find the bad Cannibalandra, but apparently Cannibalandras, aka Khandras, can't kill people, so someone else killed this person, and then the Khandra ate them, like all of us Americans with any meat products. Then she sees a ghost-like mist figure, and it's vague and very Hayden-like. Next, it's time to wheel out the whiteboard for some more war planning, but that meeting is interrupted by a terrace woman listening through the door, like when you were a kid and your little brother was trying to listen in on your phone conversations with your girlfriend. Go away! It's the same woman that Vin was suspicious of previously. Oh, snap. Chapter 14. This new woman begins to give Ellen the Princess Diaries treatment. But instead of teaching him how to be a princess, she's teaching him how to be a king, like Simba. I just can't wait to be king. So it's King Seth's Diaries. Apparently, she's a friend of Sazed. Chapter 15, Sayzed is waiting for Marsh on Mellow Eyes, but he's a no-show, like Arnold Schwarzenegger during his son's karate belt ceremony in Jingle All the Way. Then he finds a bunch of bodies that mysteriously have died, Oregon Trail style. My guess is dysentery. And shortly after that, meets a crazy person that probably belongs at a Whataburger at 2 a.m. in the morning. Chapter 16, Vin is reading the old logbook from the fake Lord Ruler in the last book. Apparently, he also saw a shadowy, vague Hayden-like creature, and Tyndall teaches Ellen some more King Sis Diaries attributes, and I freaking love this character. Chapter 17, Vin and Ellen meet with a messenger from his father, and it's the Watcher, aka possible love interest in the future, maybe? Anyway, his name is Zane. Okay, and he's there to set up a meeting between Ellen and his dad. Then later, Zane and Vin have a little flirt fight. Is it happening? He's also mysterious, brooding, and full of vague wisdom, aka a shadow daddy. I'm just waiting for him to turn out to be 2,000 years old. And Vin decides she wants to keep flirt fighting with him. Here we go. Chapter 18, now we're in Zane's POV. Oh my God. And we find out that Zane is Ellen's brother. Oh my God. He's also hearing a voice called God, like TV evangelists asking for money, which is why he thinks he's insane, and God tells him to kill every person he sees. You good, buddy? We need to see somebody about that. So then insane Zane chats with his father, and we find out that he's trying to get Zane to become close with Vin. Say it isn't so, Zane. This is supposed to be organic. And then insane Zane gets a servant girl to try and poison his dad. But it doesn't work because Daddy is apparently a 10-eye and he has a special woman with special healing potions.
Wow. That is a jam-packed sequence of chapters, Steven. Before we started recording, you mentioned that you feel like we're really turning a corner here.
We are cooking with elbow grease now.
It is time for my one big word. And my big word this stretch of chapters is, huh? Every book has its exposition, but one of my favorite parts of any story is when things really start to click and some of the strings that the author has been putting out there start to pay off. And we get our first big domino of the story this week with the reveal that Zane is Ellen's brother.
I love this. And then the whole idea about the whole love triangle thing makes it even more interesting because now we have a relations thing. Oh, brothers? Which brother?
Yeah.
It's a half brother, but still, which brother will she choose?
Well,
and you can tell by some of the verbiage that I feel like Zane is seemingly somewhat involved romantically or some way with Vin. He's called her attractive. And then at the end of chapter 18, he says, maybe she can fix me.
Save me. Save me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I'm curious, Steven, when you were kind of trying to figure out who the Watcher is, where would Ellen's brother have been on that list for you? A possibility.
Nowhere, but now looking back, Vin says he looks very familiar.
Yes,
so
exactly.
So that's why he looked familiar, seemingly.
Yes.
Because they were related.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Oh, it's starting to click, and I love it.
Steven, it is time for us to don our mist cloaks and dive so deep into this stretch of chapters. Please start us off with the epigraph from chapter 12.
It wasn't until years later that I became convinced that Alindi was the hero of ages. Hero of ages, the one called Rebzine in Kalinium, the Animnicer Savior.
I gotta say, Steven, this is like the most difficult words per capita of any of the epigraphs that we've had so far.
I want to go home, and I'm at my house currently. Who said that, by the way? Was it Quan?
It's gotta be Quan.
Let's read it one more time. Get it right this time.
We are in Sayzed's POV. Sayzed and Marsh have arrived at the conventicle of Saran, and Sayzed is like, are we sure that they're gone? And Marsh is like, yes. And Sayzed's like, how do you know? And Marsh is like, I don't know.
So when he says they're gone, we're talking about other Inquisitors.
Other Inquisitors, exactly. Yeah. And again, dude, you are being far too vague and cryptic, even for my liking.
Have we superseded Haydenness?
No, Steven, you cannot, with a straight face, say that I've been this vague to you at any point throughout this podcast.
Maybe you're right. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
By the way, when you've been calling Marsh unmellow eyes, I just imagine instead of the spikes in his eyes, I imagine like really long marshmallows.
I mean, like his eyes aren't mellow because they have spikes driven through them. So now that's what you can pick. It softens his face. It's no longer spikes. It's marshmallows.
Yeah, he kind of becomes cute at that point.
He's a cute little inquisitor.
And with that, Marsh comes up on the pulley system leading into the fortress and follows the rope down. And Sazed, ever the keeper, swaps out his current history-related copper mines for combat-focused ones, leaving the precious history copper mines in a safe hiding space. Just in case, they're murdered by a hiding group of inquisitors. No big deal.
I have a question for you. So when we mention copper mines, this is a physical thing. Correct? I'm trying to wrap my mind around it visually.
It is a little confusing because now we have two different magic systems, right? We have Allomancy and Feruchemy. And each of the different abilities that metals give to Allomancers is slightly tweaked for a Feruchemist. So, for example, copper would allow somebody to obscure themselves from other Allomancers. However, in the case of a Feruchemist, copper actually allows them to store memories inside of the metal itself. So instead of the metal being ingested into your body and using the energy that way, the metal is connecting to your body and allowing you to actually put stuff inside of those storage metals, essentially.
So are they wearing this copper, or
Yes.
they're not digesting this copper?
No, they're not digesting it. So remember,
So that's why they have all the jewelry and stuff.
Exactly.
Because later it says, it doesn't say copper as the metal, it says something else mined.
So later, and we'll get to it in a moment, he uses iron.
Iron, yeah.
And that is what allows him to take weight away from his body.
Okay, gotcha.
So
copper is the storing of memories.
Yeah, exactly. It is convoluted, but if you were to kind of look at a chart, it would describe it all for you. So what's interesting here is that he doesn't take from it in order to become heavier. Rather, he allows the mind to take weight from him, making his fall down the pulley system slower so that he can do it without, breaking his fucking legs, basically.
Playing with physics, essentially.
Exactly. And that's what you'll notice about Brandon's magic systems. All of them are based around some form of physics. Even though it's fantastical elements that allow the magic to happen, it's still going to be grounded within the real world that we live in.
Yeah, I've admired that about him. It's not something fantastical and vague. It's pretty planned out. I mean, it's not possible, but within this world, if you could digest these metals, it would be possible.
Yeah, exactly. The two are now making their way through the conventicle, and it's giving off some very serious Indiana Jones vibes. It's dark, old, and as readers, we're just low-key waiting for some booby trap to go off. As they work their way deeper into the chamber, Sazed notices, quote, "The walls are hung with massive steel plates that bear no rust, unlike the ones outside. Many of those here are not completely smooth, but instead crafted with some interesting patterns etched into their surfaces."
Little hieroglyphics everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, the Inquisitors, they need one of those surprise HGTV shows that comes and redoes people's houses to make them more homey. Because
there's something to be said about classic looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
they would just put shiplap over everything, wouldn't they? Oh no, they wouldn't. They would move the metal and find shiplap underneath it. That's what always happens. Let's move down. There's shiplap under this drywall.
Yeah, and then they're showing it to Marsh at their end, and they're like, "What? Do you like it?" No.
No.
Why? I don't know.
I can't really see anything.
So what I love about this moment is that Brandon Sanderson is using this description of the conventicle's decorating style, essentially, to build more lore and mystery into the world itself. He's not going to explicitly explain why each metal panel is there, but you know that it's there for a reason, and that creates a more lived-in environment.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of over-explanation in books, and so he doesn't really do that, and I admire that.
And it's a fine balance to have, too, because he creates these worlds that have so much lore, and he really does give you a lot, and he does tell you, what the world building really is. But at the same time, it's a fine line because, for example, Lord of the Rings. That series is so great, and the lore is so interesting, and the world building is so interesting because you don't get it all explained to you. There's certain things that are there that you don't 100% understand, but it's there for some kind of reason.
Right, and I love those moments in books where there's an eye-opening part, and we have several of those in this episode coming up, but it builds upon something that you found out earlier in the book. So he does a good job of spacing out different things you learn along the way, and then there's that toward the end, you're like, holy crap, that's what that was.
Yeah, exactly. Sazed is going around and describing the inscriptions and the metal plates on the walls, and he's saying it all out loud. And Marsh is like, what are you doing, dude? To which Sazed, of course, responds that he's just going to use this to log later in his copper mind. And Marsh says, quote, "You should not care about the Inquisitors. They are not worthy of your record." So it's like, okay, that helps ease our minds that this isn't some kind of weird trick by Marsh to get Sazed alone and murder him in the deep, dark recesses of the conventicle, even though he has been pretty creepy.
But also, I want to know about the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would like to uncover truths about these things. You are one. What are you hiding?
If you're suspicious of Marsh, you could also take it as he's, saying like, oh, you shouldn't worry about the Inquisitors. They're not worthy of being remembered. But in a way, he's still obscuring the truth. He's still hiding the inner workings of the Inquisitors, and he might just be trying to throw this Sazed off the scent.
There's always another secret.
The two finally stumble upon the site of the apparent non-Inquisitor servants of this place, and they're all massacred in the same room. That is an issue they would have to take care of on the HGTV show.
They probably wouldn't air that episode.
Yeah, it does not fit the mid-century modern feel that they're going for.
We tore the flooring up and found bodies. Oh, that's going to be on probably True TV.
Yeah, and this is kind of funny here, I thought. So Sazed is looking upon the bodies and he's horrified, and Marsh just comes up and says, "There's a bad air about this place." Yeah, you fucking think, buddy?
I love the monotone, just Ron Swanson type character that freaking Marshmallow Eyes is.
Marsh is Ron Swanson. That's amazing. So he's also Duke Silver then, too. Marsh says he's going to ascend to the Inquisitor's quarters, but that Sazed cannot join him, but he's welcome to descend down the stairs. Okay, I am all over the place here because now all I can think about is the Inquisitors having like a bunch of bunk beds up in their room now, and they all have sleepovers every night.
This creepy, scary Inquisitors with stuff in their eyes. They're just like, who wants top bunk tonight?
But Sazed cannot join him, so he's going to go descend down the stairs. So Sazed makes his way down and stumbles upon a room with, quote, a torture chamber, perhaps. There are tables, metal tables, set into the floor. They are bloody, though there are no corpses. Blood lakes and powders at my feet. A lot of men have died in this room, I think. There don't appear to be torture implements beyond spikes, like the ones in Inquisitor's eyes. Mm-hmm. Massive, heavy things, like the spikes one might pound into the ground with a very large mallet. Some are tipped with blood. I don't think I'll handle those. These other ones, yes, they look indistinguishable from the ones in Marsh's eyes, yet some are of different metals.
Uh-huh. Okay, so this seems like where you create Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Not a torture chamber, unless to create an Inquisitor, you must be tortured. That could be a whole thing in the situation. But it sounds like a place where you make Inquisitors. Did the Inquisitors, I guess a question for you, did they move here after the death of the Lord Ruler, or were these people scattered around and this has always been their hub?
I think the implication is that there were always Inquisitors there, but after the fall of the Lord Ruler, they all kind of convened in this place.
And this is very far from Luthadel.
Yeah. He's in a whole other dominance, which is like the different like quarters of the land.
Maybe this is a hub where they did create Inquisitors.
Yeah.
So that's what the author obviously wants you to think.
Well, and remember, when Kelsier and Vin stumbled upon what they thought was Marsh's body in the first book, there was blood everywhere.
Yes.
And then Marsh ends up being an Inquisitor and still alive.
Well, I think the first book, he faked that because he beat that guy's head in to make it look like him faked his own death.
We think. I mean, we don't know for sure. But the other interesting point that I want to point out here is that the mention that some of the metals in the different spikes are different kinds of metals. And remember that all Inquisitors have the powers of a Mistborn.
All of them collectively have the powers, or each one
each
has
one
the
is
power?
able to act as a Mistborn.
Okay, so we're saying that each thing in Marsh's eyes specifically is a different type of metal?
Maybe. I mean, we haven't really... All we've seen from Marsh is his 2 eye spikes, but we know that he has more under his robes because, remember, that's how Vin and Marsh killed all the Inquisitors in the first book. They tore one out from his back.
And you can't use metals that are inserted into somebody.
Not that we know of. I mean,
somebody else, like you can't pull on the metals from his eyes.
Exactly.
It's in him.
Yeah.
Because later in this stretch of chapters, it comes up that Zane, Daddy Watcher, keeps metal in his mouth.
Yeah.
Just as a quick fix kind of a thing, and nobody can access it except for him.
Yes. I think there's a lot of mystery going on around with this room, but I think there's some breadcrumbs that we can kind of put in our back pocket.
I don't trust Brandy Sandy, though, because he's led us astray intentionally like you do in this podcast. And so perhaps he's just trying to get us to think. It does sound like a place where you create Inquisitors, though, but we don't know how they're created. I'm sure at some point we'll find out.
Yeah.
Maybe not if in this trilogy, maybe the next one or a prequel or whatever else he has to offer as an author, but I don't know. That's what it sounds like.
Wouldn't it just be amazing if we never found out in this first trilogy and you never got to find out?
Sounds like something you're leading me toward. You sound like Brandon Sanderson right now.
So Sazed freaks out, understandably, and he presses on into another room, ending abruptly with a steel plate on the wall. But this one has words inscribed on it. And like you said in your recap, Stephen, it quotes several of the epigraphs that we have seen throughout the chapters of part 1, starting with the epigraph from chapter 1. Quote, I write these words in steel, for anything not set in metal cannot be trusted.
That's the first epigraph. Yes.
Exactly.
And when I read that, I was like, we're doing book 1, but it's progressing quicker because we didn't find out who was writing those epigraphs till well beyond.
Yeah, we found out like, what was it, chapter 4 or something of this book? Yeah. So, Stephen, I mean, clearly this is of importance. Any impressions on this so far?
I mean, I have a lot, none that matter right in this moment, I don't think.
Okay, that's fine.
Because this is Quan. The guy who was traveling with the Terraceman and the other guy, right?
Yep.
Is Quan a Terraceman? I forget what he is.
Yes, he was a Terraceman. Yes.
Okay, so Quan is also a Terraceman. I don't know.
That's okay. Just let that ruminate. Let it wash over you over the coming weeks.
I'll give it one more thought, and we'll revisit it later.
So Sazed, as we said, is reading over this inscription on the metal plate, and god damn it, Marsh is right behind him and spooks him yet again. And he says, "It's time."
I just like the idea of like if this was in film, which it will be at some point.
Yeah,
on the screen, like Sazed is like, "Oh, I need to do these things," or however he sounds, and then all of a sudden he's just and he's been standing here the whole time. Jump scare for everybody. Ron Swanson, big mustache, nails in his eye.
He's like, "What are you doing?
What are you doing here?"
So anyways, Marsh says it's time to leave. And so with that, Sazed takes out paper to take a charcoal rubbing of the text so he can transcribe it later. And as he does so, Sazed knows he can't just go back to helping villagers. He has to be in the center of all of it now to share what he knows. He has to go back to Luthadel.
You know, oftentimes in books and movies, there's a part where one of the main characters goes off and does this thing where he's living a lie. He's like, I'm going to go tend to the sheep at my papa's farm or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's doing it the whole time. And then something happens that brings him back. Like take, for instance, the Keanu Reeves movie. What's that called where he shoots a lot of
John
people?
Wick?
John Wick. I mean, like he's in retirement and then all of a sudden he gets out of retirement because someone kills his dog. This is Sazed's moment in this book.
Yeah, no, great point. And luckily, this one only lasted 12 chapters, so we didn't spend too much time doing that. So, Stephen, can you please read us the epigraph for chapter 13?
When I finally had the realization, finally collected all the signs of the anticipation to Elindi, I was so excited. Yet when I announced my discovery to the other world bringers, I was met with scorn. Oh, how I wish that I had listened to them. Is this like the Well of Ascension moment we're speaking of here?
Yeah, so essentially, first of all,
Elindi is the guy that was supposed to be the Lord Ruler.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the person, the hero of ages, the person to stop the deepness, and then was overtaken by Rashek. The anticipation, it seems like, from my understanding, is that the world bringers are essentially the philosophers and the religious knowers of the pre-ascension society. So they had the anticipation, they had the moment of ascension, all these different things. And these were like prophesized. So they were like told to like the coming of the hero of ages is going to follow this pattern, essentially. And the anticipation was one of those. So that's what the anticipation were. And what the Worldbringers were.
Cool.
We are now in Vin's POV. Vin and Orsur are having a convo about the mists coming earlier. There's a funny moment where Orsur is taking her way too literally, and he's like, if you wish for me to believe that they're coming earlier, I will do so. I love that because Vin is like explaining to him, like, I feel like the mists are coming earlier. And he's like, well, they sometimes vary. And they start kind of arguing about it. And he's like, you know what? If you wish for me if you command me to believe what you do, then I will. And she's like,
he just wants to be commanded for something. He just please tell me to do something.
But in the same light, he's also kind of being a smartass as well.
Yeah.
He's like, if you want to command me to believe the wrong thing, then I will. Don't worry.
Yeah, the mists have been doing crazy things, though, because the Lord Ruler is dead.
Yeah.
And he seemed to have a hold on the mists.
That's right. So anyways, Vin believes that it is mystery-solving time. Now remember, there is an imposter in their midst.
Yes.
Khandra cannot be in human society without having a contract in place with some kind of employer. So the imposter is a Khandra here for a specific reason. And Khandra cannot kill humans. So someone must have killed them for him.
Yes. So there's people working together for this whole thing they get going on here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a body heist.
There's not just one spy. There's multiple, it's implying. So Vin is able to get some info from Orsur about how she might be able to tell who's the imposter, though. After commanding he say it, he says that Khandra cannot be affected by emotional allomancy. So they won't even notice when someone is trying to push or pull on their emotions. That's pretty useful. They also cannot use allomancy themselves. So if she sees Ham, Clubs, or Spook using allomancy, that would eliminate them from the running of being the imposter.
I mean, these are just the three that they are thinking. It doesn't have to be one of the clan that they have, though. It would make for a better story if it was.
And I think Vin is trying to eliminate the inner circle as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because that's a disaster if one of them is an imposter. But also remember, Elend and Doxson are both not allomancers. So there's no real way to know.
Well, we don't think Elend has any allomancy abilities. I have something coming up at the end.
One of your predictions?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll table that till the end.
So Vin presses on and asks why Kelsier had mentioned that Vin should keep Orsur away from the Lord Ruler or the Inquisitors. But he refuses to answer why. But you'll remember that he has a contract. If she commands that he answer something, he should have to say it. Well, apparently Khandra aren't compelled to share secrets about Khandra nature, which is great.
So he gave that one to her for freezies about the whole thing that they can't kill anybody, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you think about it, it's a pretty good deal. He did her a solid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who is he to not have secrets? Like, come on, Vin.
There's always another secret.
Yeah, first of all, you put him in a dog's body, one.
Yeah.
And then
He's got that dog in
two,
him.
you just want him to share every little secret that he has.
Yeah. And you already have expressed hatred toward this fella. Why would he open up to you right now?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Team Orsur all the way, by the way, just so that we're clear. Yeah.
I like him so far.
Vin then wants to know a bit more about Orsur specifically. What are his loves and his hates? And again, he doesn't want to answer. So this time, Vin doesn't command him. I like this moment because this is the first moment where Vin is kind of shown at least a little bit of respect for Orsur's wishes. She sees in his eyes familiar resentment, the kind she used to feel for the thieving crew leaders she used to work for.
Now we have realization of things we've talked about previously, how there's a comparison between how she's acting and how she was treated.
Exactly. The oppressed is becoming the oppressor in this very small, specific moment. She's slowly starting to see he's not a thing. He's a person, just like her. Then she hears the faint pulsing from before. She wants to know what it is. So she tells Orsur to keep up and launches off the roof. The pulsing is coming from a room in a building with a vantage point of where they were before. So she leaps through the window, and it's there. The mist spirit swirling into the faint outline of a person.
Okay, this is so crazy, and we don't, spoiler alert for this chat, we don't find out anything about this thing.
No.
Seemingly. I don't know what it is. I thought that this was the moment it was going to be the Watcher.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
maybe, I was like, maybe it's a resurrected Kelsier. That's obviously not it, because that would be weird for the story. But it's something that it wasn't, though. We just have no idea.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I hate to break it to you, Stephen, but this is something we're not going to learn about until towards the very end of the book. So you've got some time to ruminate on this.
I wouldn't want to find out this anytime before that, though. This
Oh,
is a
yeah.
big thing to keep you reading. I mean, there's a lot to keep you reading, but this is one of those things.
Big mystery, big mystery. And it's one of those things that, like, yes, this world is fantastical, but the idea of there being ghosts and, like, mist spirits, it's another level of fantasy that the first book doesn't quite go into as much.
Right. The first book just wets your feet with the world.
Yeah,
and this
it's
kind of
pretty
builds
grounded,
on
and
that.
there's plenty of magic, but it's all
Yeah.
pretty much in the same world, you know? So the spirit steps towards her and disappears as she asks, "Who are you?" But suddenly, something grabs her arm. Quote, something cold, something terrible, but something very real. A pain shot through her head, moving as if from her ear and into her mind. She yelled, but cut off as her voice failed. With a quiet groan, her arm quivering and shaking, she fell backward out of the window.
This is the type of moment you're like, hey, we're moving. If this happened in your house, you know, we have a ghost that lives in the pantry and she just touched my arm. Nope, we're moving now. No, I'm out of this room. Never coming back.
This is the part of the horror movie where the little girl comes up to the dad and is like, "Daddy, I think there's a monster under my bed." And the Baron is like, "Oh, you're just imagining things." And then 30 minutes down the line, everybody's possessed. There's blood pouring out of the walls, and you've made a huge mistake.
Credits.
Yeah. But we can't move because we got our whole life savings into this place.
And we can't move because this was Aunt Betsy's favorite spot, or I don't know. They're always stupid reasons.
All right, we are now in Ellen's POV. Ellen is meeting with the rest of the crew to discuss strategy. They suggest that the only viable option is to figure out which army they want to side with. The other option is waiting and running out of food.
Wouldn't go with that one. That's not a good option.
That one sucks.
Why is that on the whiteboard? Erase that. Let's replace it with something that's even close to being better.
We've got fight or starvation.
Well, obviously number one, right? I don't know. Let's ponder one more time.
The issue is this, though. That might save the city, but neither Straff nor Set will allow the Ska people to just live freely as they have been under Elend.
Yeah.
Elend has an idea, though. These armies will need a lot of food. What if they're able to disrupt their supply lines and make the siege impossible to maintain? But his grand plan, though, is much more devious. He wants to be playing both sides.
Yeah.
If they can make both sides think they're with them, they could coax them into fighting each other, maybe making the victor small enough to be defeated by Luthadel. I love this scene because you can see in the old crew that spark coming back. It feels like old times when Kelsier would drop an insane plan on them, each one stupider than the last. Then there's a funny line. Quote, "Great," Ellen thought. "I've filled my inner council with a bunch of thrill-seeking masochists. Even worse, I've decided to join them." Well, and I like this moment too because Elend, he's starting to move away from being just the pampered rich kid.
Yeah.
Into really trying to ingratiate himself and be one of the team.
Yeah. I mean, he's not doing a great job.
No,
at
he's
it,
not.
At all, really. I feel like when this goes to the screen.
Yeah.
How old am I? When this goes to the cinema, when it becomes a series.
When this goes to the pictures.
When it becomes Apple TV, I feel like he'll be a very comedic character. I mean, he's already a comedic character, but I feel like they may play it off even more so. I don't know. We'll see.
Pappy, I want to go to the pictures and buy a Coca-Cola and pay a dime to see Mistborn, the final empire.
And we'll still have 5 cents left for food on the way home.
The meeting is interrupted by Demu, bringing in a woman who was listening in through the wall. And this is the woman that Ben noticed from the meeting the other day. And let me tell you what, she is large and in charge. I gotta think, there's some like guys who like taller, larger women. Mm-hmm. Like, there's got to be some kink stuff going on with Tindwyl in like the fanfics side of the Cosmere.
I mean, I'm sold on her simply due to her attitude and her like her tone. I'm like, yeah, she's my hear me out so far.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So Tindwyl wants to speak to Elend alone. Quote, "I would speak with the king alone. The rest of you are excused.
Yeah, so it's just foreshadowing earlier whenever, I don't know how many chapters ago it was, but when Vin notices this woman and she seems skeptical about her, now we get to find out. It's just another way that Brandon Sanderson is pacing out different things he's uncovering within the book. But I wanted to say this. These stretch of chapters are somewhat boring in that there's a lot of war planning going on, but the whole time you're paying attention to every detail because you're still trying to figure out who the imposter is. So that's another credit I'll give to Brandon Sanderson. Like, even through these moments where I could fall asleep, I still need to pay attention because I'm looking for an imposter right now. Who's speaking weird? Who's saying the wrong thing?
Yes. Well, and it's a challenge too, because like there is a lot of information that needed to be distilled in these opening chapters, and it is a necessity. But the way that he's able to weave in mystery, reveals, new characters, you're right, it does at least keep piquing your interest until we can get into the absolute meat of the book.
Yeah, I don't know what that trope would be called, but the imposter trope, that's always a good seller.
It's fabulous.
Like, we got to find out who the imposter is.
Yeah, it never gets old. It never gets old. All right, Stephen, can you please give us the epigraph for chapter 14?
And yet, any who know me will realize that there was no chance I would give up so easily. Once I find something to investigate, I become dogged in my pursuit. I like how that was the epigraph after I just mentioned that we are trying to pursue who the imposter is. Nice.
Quan's got that dog in him. What can we say?
He's got that dog in him.
We are in Ellen's POV, and this lady is bossy.
Yes, smash.
Remember how we said Sazed is Vin's Joe? Well, this lady is Ellen's Paolo from Princess Diaries. I cannot believe the number of Princess Diaries references that we've made without talking to each other about them before.
I know, right? I mean, did you think going into Mistborn we'd bring up the Princess Diaries as many times as we had in both books to this point? I do like how it's a reversal now, like how the turntables, Michael Scott style. It's no longer Vin being taught to be royal. It's Ellen being taught to be royal.
Yes, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, from somebody just the polar opposite of Sazed, which was the first teacher. Right?
Oh yeah, Sazed was like, very kind and considerate, and Tyndall is like, buck the fuck up, buddy.
Right? It's like a drill sergeant.
So anyway, this lady's name is Tyndall. She's essentially here to call out all the bullshit that Ellen is currently on. You see, while Sazed is a keeper of religions, Tyndall is a keeper of biographies. So she spent her whole life studying leaders and generals throughout history, and she clocks him immediately. He's spent the past year reading on all the greatest political theories of how to run a society, but he's not seen being a part of his society.
Yeah, so Sazed is the theologian, the pastor, and Tyndall is the history buff.
Yeah, she is the Ken Burns of the keepers, if you will. Turns out Sazed is the one who ratted him out, by the way. He didn't specifically ask for Tyndall to come tutor Ellen, but as you can tell, Tyndall is the kind of person who takes things into her own hands. Yeah, she does. No. I'd like that about her, though. I love this character. Yeah. She is my favorite character so far, other than, I think, the Watcher, but just simply because of the mystery. But in terms of just style of character, I love Tyndall. Yeah. Oh, Vin is now back, and she's like, what the fuck is going on?
Why is this old lady yelling at you, sir?
And Tyndall is like, okay, it's time for me to go. I'll see you later. And oh, yeah, Ellen, your first lesson is to stop saying, We all could use this one.
Oh, I remember... I was listening to that portion yesterday. I was cleaning my house. And I say all the time. Also the word like, and then I catch myself saying it. Yeah. And then I want to just change my lingo altogether.
Yeah. Anyways, POV Vin. Immediately after Tyndall leaves, we're treated to this really sweet moment where we get to see Vin give Ellen the strength he needs. This is so great to see after we see earlier in this book how Ellen was the one able to really comfort her first. In Vin's eyes, Ellen's plan of going all in to save the city is better than just giving it up, no matter how risky it may be. But next, Vin shares her concerns about the Lord Ruler's last words and wonders if Ellen was taught anything about the deepness as a noble child. This is smart. I think this is a great thought by Vin to go back to the source of like, oh, maybe the nobles are taught a little bit about this. Mm-hmm.
Most of what they taught seemingly wasn't true, though, or it was leaning a certain way politically or it was swayed, influenced,
Yes.
so that they would, keep calm with the whole situation.
Exactly. And I mean, the Lord Ruler was a master propagandist. He made things so that he never had to be questioned. And that is no different for the nobles, even though they had some rights and even though they may have had a little bit more information, it's still not 100% the truth.
Yeah, the Lord Ruler was a true dictator.
Yeah, he sucks. Yeah.
But he was protecting him from something, and we got to figure that out, and that's what she's trying to do.
He says, quote, "Well, I think it was a creature of some sort," meaning the deepness, "a dark and evil thing that nearly destroyed the world. The Lord Ruler traveled to the Well of Ascension, where he was given the power to defeat the deepness and unite mankind. There are several statues in the city depicting the event." Then voices this, "What if it comes back?" And Ellen is like, "Really? You're not worried about the two armies that are sitting outside our city? Just forget about it." Which is a yikes for me personally from Ellen.
Yeah, the armies are the least of your concern right now with this other thing, this vagueness running around.
And by the way, you could just sit here for a while in the siege and nothing's going to happen with the armies for the next few months. So, I feel like the deepness could be even more pressing. So Ven's concerns go back inward, thinking, quote, "The hero of ages traveled to the Well of Ascension to defeat the deepness," she thought. "But the prophecies all said that the hero shouldn't take the well's power for himself. He was supposed to give it up, trust in the power itself to destroy the deepness. Reshek didn't do that. He took the power. Wouldn't that mean that the deepness was never defeated? Why then wasn't the world destroyed?"
Yeah, that's the general idea, right? That's why there's still ash everywhere. The world's not how it used to be, because this thing is still out there, vaguely doing something vague.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea is that by the Lord Ruler taking up the power from the Well of Ascension, he essentially just kind of bided the time of the power. In theory, if he had let it go, it should have destroyed the deepness itself for good.
And this is kind of like a lesson in power corrupts kind of a thing. Rather than go to this place and use this power that is there to destroy this evil, you take the power for yourself, and now you're corrupted. And maybe he was keeping this thing at bay while he was alive, but now the power is gone with him.
Exactly. And now it's like, well, who's the barrier?
'Twas greed that killed the cat.
Yeah, all along. And she thinks on how the hero of ages traveled north to the terraced mountains to reach the Well of Ascension, and wonders if it could still be there. As Ellen leaves to handle a few more things, Ven looks through the window to the mists and says, quote, "I will not fear you, and I will find your secret."
That's a good ending.
Yeah, that's like a throwback to the Mistborn chapters where like every single chapter ended with a banger line.
Yeah. We haven't had a banger line ending in this whole book.
We haven't needed them.
That's true. It's always it's just uncovering stuff, and the pacing is what's keeping us going.
Okay, Stephen, please give us the epigraph for chapter 15.
"I had determined that Alindi was the hero of ages, and I intended to prove it. I should have bowed before the will of the others. I shouldn't have insisted on traveling with Alindi to witness his journeys. It was inevitable that Alindi himself would find out what I believed him to be." Now what? Because Reshek is the bad guy. Before this, Kwan entered the frame, we were just under the impression that perhaps Alindi was just a good guy that was killed by Reshek.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But now it seems like maybe there's something else to Alindi, or I don't know. There's more threads in this now. Does that make sense?
Well, or there's the idea that Kwan was the person to lead Alendi to the Well of Ascension. And by Kwan pronouncing that Alendi is the hero of ages, he instantly puts a target on his back and opens him up to people like Reshek who want to take the power for themselves.
So he's not saying it as like this is my enemy kind of a thing.
I don't think
like,
so. I don't think so.
I'm causing problems for this guy.
I think it's more that.
Okay. All right.
We are back in Sazed's POV. Sazed awakes 8 days after their time at the conventicle, and Marsh is nowhere to be found. What the hell, dude?
Where did he go?
I don't
know.
Get
separated? He just vanishes?
Out. Yeah, he just runs away. And this reminds me of when I'd wake up from a sleepover when I was a kid and my friend left early, so I'd wake up and they'd just be gone, and I'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh, speaking of sleepovers, have you ever slept over at a friend's house and you wake up to their parents fighting? You're like, oh God. And you're on the couch. I don't know what to do. I have to pretend to be asleep because I don't know these people.
Oh God, I have not, but I
Trauma
wish I had.
unlocked for most of these listeners, probably.
So, Sayes is on his own and making his way back to Luthadel. We see what it's like for him to call on the memories of a copper mind, which is so cool because have you ever seen Sherlock, the TV series?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so in it, he has this thing called a mind palace, and like they visualize it by like he calls upon memories, and you like see all these different like screens and stuff come up in his mind that he can just choose from one by one. And I kind of imagine that as what it's like to call on the memories of a copper mind.
I kind of equated it to a pensive from the Wizarding World.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, that's another
I like
good
that
example.
Yeah. So, say that it comes up on a place called Urbane, and there's the smell of rotting bodies. Oh my. When he reaches
Again, it's just a bunch of bodies.
When he reaches the village, he notices outside of each hovel are a small number of dead ska, laying in the ash with no clear cause of death. And inside is much of the same, each one filled with dead ska, who by Sazed's guess died of likely starvation. But eventually, Sazed, using his tin mind, hears some stirring in one of the hovels and rushes there. One man is still alive, and he's basically on death's door. But he leaps up frantically and kind of reveals to us that he survived because he's been eating his dead village members. Yikes.
I mean, you do what you got to do in dire circumstances like that, I guess. I don't know if I could. Could you bring yourself to eat somebody? Let's say you and I
Yeah.
are in a village, okay, and I die, unfortunately. And you're like, well, what are you going to do?
I mean, I'm saying this as someone who ate like 2 hours ago, right? Like,
It's not because of the ick factor. It's because I'm currently full.
yeah.
No.
I don't think I could.
I couldn't. It'd be
Yeah.
gross.
I think I would just rather die,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And by the time I'm that hungry, I'm probably hallucinating.
Yeah.
So I think I could
Maybe
just
I look
fall
like a
asleep.
banana at that point or something.
And I'd be like, God damn it, a banana's not enough. I need more.
I need more, and then you die.
So you'd be fine.
Yeah.
This guy also reveals that they were trapped in there because the mist wouldn't go away. It had been there for days and weeks.
See, this is interesting. And I wonder how long ago this has been.
Yeah.
It doesn't say the time period.
It's been like scattered reports of this since the Lord Ruler died.
Okay, that's what I was getting to. It's been, I'm assuming when he died, this stuff just started going crazy.
That's what it seems like.
Because there's a specific moment, I think it's coming up, where Sazed's, because this guy mentions that there's mist during the day, and Sazed's like, oh, you don't have mist out in the day. That's like when you see a coyote out in the day, like, oh, he's got hydrophobia.
Exactly.
He's got rabies.
Yeah.
So there's something wrong right now.
Yes, exactly. And even more bizarre is that some people were killed when they went out into the mist. Quote, taken by the mist. Oh, how he shook.
There's a Stephen King book called The Mist, I think, where the mist kills you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Similar to that.
Yeah. And remember earlier, I believe it was in chapter maybe 2, maybe 3, there were reports from other Ska villagers that one of their people had died. The guy that Sazed buried earlier in one of those chapters, he died by having like seizure-like symptoms when he was out in the mist.
Yeah, I wonder, because mist itself is creepy, specifically because you can't see around you. So just the idea of this isolation and not knowing, I wonder if it's less of the mist that kills you and more of the things that exist in the mist.
Okay, like other creatures and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder, I don't, because do we know if the mist is necessarily sentient and evil, or is it the things that exist in the mist?
It's kind of weird because, you know, we hear about how the mist kind of like dances around like Vin as she's using allomancy and stuff like that. So it seems to have some sentient properties, but we're not sure.
Okay. I'm leaning toward, unless it's been blatantly stated previously, I'm leaning toward perhaps there are creatures that exist within the mist, that travel with the mist, that come out and kill people.
Okay. That's an interesting thought.
You seem confused, and you've already read the book, so maybe I'll have to get away from
No, I'm just pondering what you're throwing out there. That's all.
because there's mist wraiths, but they don't kill.
They don't kill. Yeah, they only take things that are already dead. So he goes on to say, quote, some got away, you know. They called to us after leaving the village, said it was all right. It didn't take them. Don't know why. It killed others, though. Some it shook to the ground, but they got up later. Some it killed. This is just crazy.
Well, that kind of goes against my theory. Then it's saying the mist is killing them. It's like it's shaking them and throwing them, right?
Well, yeah, they're having these like seizure-like symptoms.
So maybe the mist is poisonous in a sense to these people?
Potentially. Yeah, and remember that Sazed is consistently saying there's no clear sign or like sign of reason of death. They don't have wounds, they don't have cuts or anything or bites.
Okay, well that just shoots holes in my theory then. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So Sazed tries to take the dude outside with him and maybe take him to Luthadel, but he just decides to yeet away, running from Sazed as fast as he can. And with that, Sazed decides it's time to get serious about getting back to Luthadel. He taps his steel mind, granting him stored up speed, and begins to run.
If I've learned anything about Brandon Sanderson, this character is probably coming back.
Really interesting. Okay.
I mean, it could have been like the marker character that Kelsier ran into when he was destroying the things at the pits of Hathsin.
Yeah.
And that character never came back. It was simply just a little change of pace for the reader.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case for this guy, but it wasn't this guy's POV. That's the difference. This is just some guy he runs into. I feel like this guy's coming back. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the predictions. If I don't remember when we get there, I'm saying it now. This guy's coming back.
What if he is the hero of ages?
He's not going to be. What if? No, he's not. He's nothing. Except he's coming back for something though.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I like that. All right, Stephen, can you please read us the epigraph for chapter 16?
Yes, he was the one who fueled the rumors after that. I could never have done what he did, convincing and persuading the world that he was indeed the hero. I don't know if he believed it, but he made others think that he must be the one.
So it seems like Quan was the one who announced Alendi as the hero of ages. And then Alendi just kind of ran with it. He was like, that's right. I'm the fucking guy. Let's go.
Yeah. I also like how there's a story being built on top of the story we're currently reading. It's like two things happening simultaneously.
Yes.
But they all flow together at some point.
Well, and that's why I've been saying it. Sometimes when you get to the climax of these books, you're almost like, I'm looking forward to the epigraph just as much as the actual chapter. So we are in Vin's POV, and Vin is chilling, girl, put your records on style in her room, sitting on the floor reading the old logbook by Alendi. And she's found the passage she's been looking for. Quote, "It isn't a shadow, this dark thing that follows me. The thing that only I can see. It isn't really a shadow. It's blackish and translucent, but it doesn't have a shadow-like solid outline. It's insubstantial, wispy, and formless, like it's made out of a dark fog. Or mist, perhaps."
Is this the consciousness of the mist coming to life?
Ooh, okay, yeah. I like that idea.
Because if we've already stated that the mist moves as allomancy is being used and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it can kill people. Is this like the mist embodying itself to reveal itself to the one with the power to destroy the deepness? Maybe these two things aren't together, the deepness and the mist.
Yeah, they're two mysteries, but they may have like conjoined answers.
Maybe they're enemies of one another.
Yeah.
They don't work or they don't work together. I don't know. That's an interesting theory.
If you look back to the times when she's seen the mist, it's been watching her. It's reached out to her.
Yes.
Like all these different things. So it's acting. It's not just there. It has some kind of motivation.
I wonder, Brandon put the word mist in here.
Yeah.
I think we've read this particular thing in the first book, right? It's mention of this.
Yes. This is from Alendi's logbook before the mist was prevalent because the Lord Ruler had not ascended yet.
Like, was this one of the epilogue or the epigraphs from the book one, though?
I believe so.
Because I think we've read this before. Either way, he put the word mist in there to either take us off the trail or lead us toward it.
Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking, okay, this is a part of the mist. Or maybe it's the mist trying to show her something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going with the mist in
Okay.
some sort of sentient way.
Okay. This is the confirmation that she wants. Alendi was haunted by the mist spirit as well. She continues on, looking for details about the deepness. I chuckled when she was annoyed at this book, by the way, wishing he could have been more specific. And I feel like you felt that on a spiritual level, Stephen.
I want to wake you up and then kill you again after you tell me what I need to know.
Just as she's about to give up, she comes upon this page. Quote, "I believe that it would kill me if it could. There is an evil feel to the thing of shadow and fog, and my skin recoils at its touch. Yet it seems limited in what it can do, especially to me. It can affect this world, however. The knife it placed in Fedek's chest proves that much. I'm still not certain which was more traumatic for him, the wound itself or seeing the thing that did it to him. Rashek whispers that I stabbed Fedek myself, for only Fedek and I can give witness to that night's events. However, I must make a decision. I must determine that I am not mad. The alternative is to admit that it was I who held the knife. Knowing Rashek's opinion on the matter makes it much easier for me to believe the opposite.
A lot there.
Yes.
So he's saying the mist stabbed this guy.
Yes, that's right. It took a knife and stabbed this person.
So once again, blowing holes in my off-the-cuff theory earlier about things existing in the mist. The mist is doing something. Remind me of who Fedek is.
Fedek is someone who I believe this is his first mention, actually.
Okay, because I don't have any recollection of this character.
Yeah,
so he
exactly.
wasn't super important previously.
No, we don't know anything of him to this point.
Okay.
So
that's interesting. So we didn't read this entire snippet in any sort of epigraph or anything in the first book.
No.
Interesting. And this is coming from the guy who was supposed to be the Lord Ruler, seemingly the good guy, right?
Yes, exactly.
So there's a lot going on that we didn't know, or it's uncovering now. You know what would be helpful, Sandy, would be to release the Lord book, the log book from the Lord Ruler before this book, because we aren't able to read what they in the story have already read and are just revisiting. This is all first time.
So releasing it as its own book?
Yeah, I was being more silly, but...
Oh, okay.
Because I'd like to have already known this information so I can know what the hell's going on.
It would have been helpful if he would have just told you the ending to the entire series before you started.
No, that wouldn't have been fun at all.
So, Ven resolves that she must also believe she is not crazy. All right, we're back in Ellen's POV, and Welp, both armies have officially surrounded the city, and we've got a full-blown siege on our hands. This is awesome. And neither side has agreed to meet with Ellen. Even better. Ellen is joined by Clubs, who gives it to him straight. He's not the worst leader he's known, but certainly not the best.
I read that. I'm like, man, that's harsh, but also, well played, I guess. You gotta tell like it is, buddy. He's the king.
Yeah. But he asks Elend if he can rise to the occasion. Could this siege be what the pits of Hathsin were to Kelsier?
Okay, I didn't pick that up when I read this, but now I'm thinking, is this the snapping portion for Ellen? Is that what he's...
Ooh, that would be so good.
So this is where he snaps and comes into his... Because I alluded earlier that I think maybe Elend has allomantic powers simply because of what we find out about Zane.
Yeah.
And whatever the hell the dad's name is, who cares? Is that what he's saying?
No, what he's saying is this. And by the way, Elend, remember, there's the custom of noble people beating their children so that they can snap. And so Elend went through all of those beatings as a child, and he never snapped. So the idea is he doesn't have...
That's the idea.
The idea is he doesn't have
maybe
powers.
Because he still is the pampered kid.
Yeah.
So maybe he never had the opportunity to truly snap.
What Clubs is really saying here is Kelsier was a jokester and not a serious person before the pits. Could this siege be the thing that turns him into the leader that he's supposed to be?
I feel like I want to argue with you, but you've read the book, so I can't. Here's what I think, Hayden. Here's what's going to happen.
This is the best part of my week because I have all the power. It's incredible.
Oh, man.
So
I'm glad you have this joy in your life, making me squirm.
No, and you're a big part of it, Stephen. I appreciate you coming like a lamb for slaughter every single week.
Thank you. Yeah. Anything for you, daddy teacher.
Anyway, they're interrupted by Tindwyl, and she's ready to pick up their lessons. First up, clothing. Elend is like, what's wrong with my clothing? And I can only imagine him in plaid shorts and Crocs in this moment.
I love Tindwyl. She's just basically you need a new wardrobe, you need a new personality, you need everything to stop being you and change.
But Crocs no more, Elend. Tindwyl's seamstress brings Ellen not a fancy suit, but a uniform. It's crisp and white, and Tindwyl believes that Ellen needs to start projecting power to his people. And then it's on to the hair. Elend is hesitant first, but has a real Mia Thermopolis moment when he sees himself in the mirror. I'm telling you, we are on the same wavelength with the Princess Diaries stuff.
Take the glasses off, get those naughty curls out.
Yes. This cleaning up his appearance can help him be the leader he wants to be. He decides that this cleaning up his appearance can help him be the leader he wants to be. And with that, they chop it all off.
Oh.
But she's not done. She also wants him to wear a crown. And there's more lessons to come in walking, speech, and combat. But they're interrupted by Demu. Straff has sent a messenger to Elend. Finally, before the chapter ends, Elend asks Tindwyl what actually makes a good king, because she seems to be very picky. Trust, Tindwyl says, looking him in the eyes. A good king is one who is trusted by his people, and one who deserves that trust. All right, Stephen, give us the epigraph for chapter 17.
If only the terrace religion and belief in the anticipation hadn't spread beyond our people. Trying to keep that information close-knit.
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, imagine if there was a prophecy by this esoteric religion that said there was someone who's going to save the world from disaster. And then all of a sudden, somebody tweets about it. And we're like, we have found him. And it's like, oh, that would complicate things quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I think that's the idea. He's like, if we could have kept this quiet for a little bit longer, maybe things would have turned out how they were supposed to.
I was going to say, maybe Rashek was an imposter because a conjurer got to him and then became... But that's too much. I don't think that's a thing.
Dude, I have not had enough weed to follow you on this thought process right now.
It was just an initial thing. I shouldn't even said anything. Unless you're just, leading me down the road.
Gaslighting you as always.
Oh, God, dang it.
We are back in Vin's POV. Vin is still doing her research, and she realizes she has to write stuff down. We're just getting more and more funny moments with Orsir chiming in with what he's seeing. Quote, Mistress, Orsir noted, still lying with his paws before him. You do realize that you just left the writing desk behind to sit on the floor. Vin looked up, and the purpose of a writing desk is, well, writing. But my papers are all over here. Papers can be moved, I believe. If they prove too heavy, you could always burn pewter to give yourself more strength.
I love the idea that the dog is just paws crossed, talking, like judging Vin.
Absolutely roasting her.
Yeah, hilarious looking, in my head at least.
Yeah, and this is all Brandon is endearing us to the Khandra little by little, so we start rooting for him more and more.
Yeah, I mean, initially you think, okay, this is like not really a person type thing. It's more of a, whatever word you could use there. But Vin is also discovering this in real time with us.
Exactly. And then she's interrupted by a knock at the door. It's Elend. She asks why he'd knock, and he says it's because she may have been changing. We can see Vin's paranoia about the imposter here because that puts up a red flag from her. Why would her boyfriend / not fiance, but someone who proposed to her, be so worried about walking in on her changing?
Why would he walk in and be...
No, why would he be so concerned about walking in on her changing when they're together, essentially?
I don't think they're together. I don't think they've ever done anything like that. It's at least...
Well, they've kissed a lot and they snuggle basically every time they see each other.
I don't think any sort of nakedness has been revealed to one another. So there's still that separation.
Yeah, I will say that Brandon is notorious for having no nakedness in his book.
But spoken like a romantic girly, which I kind of am at the same time. This relationship is boring to me. Okay, it was nice and fun at first, but now that we've thrown in this new Watcher guy, I'm like, okay, now we're cooking.
Do you think perhaps it's boring because you're seeing the relationship through Vin's eyes, and she's...
I mean, I also see it through Ellen's. I'm just saying it's not toxic or anything. It's just like, all right, it's just there. It's
right. But what I'm saying is Vin sees some of those same things in the relationship herself. Whereas
bland and boring and blah, blah, blah.
Bland and boring, and it like she loves Elend, but she's not sure if they quite fit. Whereas when she's with the Watcher, there's that excitement.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, we're all excited about the Watcher, I think, at least right now. But that was my point. I feel like Brandon Sanderson is doing a good job of throwing in this other element to this relationship, so it's not so, just a nice bowl of porridge. Now we're throwing some ingredients.
Right,
Ooh,
right.
Is that licorice? Why are you throwing licorice in porridge? I don't know. We're going to find out, though.
Yeah. After she nods off her anxiety, she clocks Ellen's new appearance, and she approves, saying he looks like a king. But there's something important to attend to. The messenger. When they come upon the messenger in the third floor atrium, Ben recognizes him. It's the Watcher. She lets Ellen know that he's Mistborn, and the Watcher introduces himself as Zane and extends an invitation for Ellen and Straff to meet in Straff's camp. Okay, hold on. Did you watch Yu-Gi-Oh when you were younger?
No, I was a Pokemon guy.
Oh, okay. Well, Zane sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh character to me.
Yeah? Zane?
Yeah.
I have a cousin named Zane, so I just picture him.
Okay, cool. Well, that joke didn't land, so I'll leave it be.
That's even funnier that it doesn't land.
And then he turns to Vin, saying, quote, I have heard reports of the beautiful Mistborn who accompanies the Venture heir, she who slew the Lord Ruler and was trained by the survivor himself. Steven,
Well,
your prediction is coming true.
What? Which one?
About the, like, triangle, the love triangle.
Oh, definitely. I'm no moron to love triangles. I know when they're coming. But no, you just kind of brush past this. This was a big moment. We find out the Watcher is... What am I trying to say here? See the deer in the headlights? The Watcher is working for Daddy.
That's right. That's right. He's working
We didn't know
for
that.
Venture.
We didn't know anything about him. So my prediction of we will find out who the Watcher is in the last episode came true.
That's like... I think that might be your first, like, 100% spot-on prediction.
I feel like I had more than that, but okay, fine. We'll at least count this one.
And with that, Zane leaves. Later that night, Vin is standing in the mist, waiting to see if Zane shows up. And there's this hilarious moment with Orsur when he asks what they're doing. Why are we waiting here, mistress? Orsur asked. We're on patrol, Vin said, waiting for assassins or spies, just like every night. Do you command me to believe you, mistress? It's so sassy. It's hilarious. Finally, she senses his pulse. They do their usual song and dance, and the feats of Owlmantic control that Zane shows are like nothing Vin has ever seen before. Kind of like how you were saying. He puts a fucking coin in his mouth in order to just kind of float in midair.
Yeah, and they're sparring, basically. They're flirt fighting the whole time. They're learning, it's like a dance. It's like a Mistborn dance.
That's right.
Metal dance.
When they're done with their sparring, he asks why she's willing to act as a slave to others. That's a pretty big statement, considering that Vin is able to do whatever the fuck she wants, basically.
In the next chapter, it mentions how Elend is getting in the way of his plans for, I don't know if they use these particular terms, but it kind of fits world domination or a big takeover. He wants to be the one in charge.
And Zane's perspective is that Mistborn, like them, don't belong with normies. They just use their powers for their own gain. His belief is normal people can't understand Mistborn. Tell me, do they understand you, Vin? Can they understand you? And can a man love something he doesn't understand?
Yeah, absolutely you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Love does not equate to understanding, but that's an interesting quote, and I like that quote, but it's complete horseshit.
Yeah, exactly. Bro is coming for Ellen's girl.
Yeah, he's obviously trying to weasel his way in.
Yeah.
We learn in the next chapter there's some ulterior motives, but I don't think they're not genuine in his feelings that he's seeming to portray toward her.
After that, he leaps off into the mists. Vin sees this as an opportunity. She understands Zane's hurt. Maybe, just maybe, she could sway him, like Kelsier did for her.
So like I said in the intro that I did, this is giving Shadow Daddy vibes.
Oh,
this is
for
the character that
sure.
enters into the romantasy books that our main girl cozies up next to. He's toxic. He's not really the right choice, but there's something appealing about him.
He's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. It's like an enemies to lovers, but not really enemies. It's more of like a mystery to lovers kind of a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you have Ellen is not a bad guy. It's just, it's a bland, seemingly bland relationship that's not interesting to the reader. And now you bring in this other facet. So now we don't really know what to do. And Vin obviously has some sort of, whether it's intrigue or even more so feelings, she's got an attraction of some kind to this character.
Yeah, and it's like another component that I think is pretty common with Shadow Daddies is this obsession with the woman. It's clear even from the few thoughts that we hear in his head, in his POV chapter, that he thinks that Vin could be his savior.
Yes.
And that is like super emblematic of a lot of the stuff we see with Shadow Daddies in romantasy.
Okay, there's a book called Throne of Glass. Have you read it?
I have not.
Okay, well, I won't give any spoilers, but to those of you that have read this book series, there's a character that our main girl has, and they're going together going together. How old
They're
am I?
going steady.
They're going steady. And it's bland. You're like, oh, this is not good. I don't like this. And then she goes for somebody else, and you realize, oh, I like this. What if this is the moment in this book series? Like, we thought it was supposed to be Ellen. Maybe it's Mr. Misty guy. Mr. Mist.
Mr.
Maybe
Mist.
it's Mr. Mist. I don't know. But it's intriguing too. I think that it's a good book series. These three books, Mistborn. It's good for those that like romantasy and those that like women in general would really get a lot out of this series.
So, Steven, I want you to plant your flag. Do you think she's going to choose Zane in the end?
If this was any other type of book series other than strictly fantasy, she would, but I don't know.
Okay. All right, Steven, give us the epigraph for chapter 18, the final chapter of this week's episode.
If only the deepness hadn't come when it did, providing a threat that drove men to desperation in both action and belief.
We get our first POV jump scare of the book because we are in Zane's POV.
I got so excited when this happened. I was like, yes, let's freaking go. I know I want this character to be something in this book. And now we get to see through his eyes. And then the first thing we find out about this character is also batshit insane.
Yeah. And literally the first thing that is said, it's literally him hearing God telling him to kill somebody.
Yeah, it says, kill him, said God. And I'm like, oh, what are we doing? What is this new thread that you're introducing here?
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. Zane is looking on through Ellen's window, watching, like a watcher watches watchingly. And he hears someone known as God saying, kill him. Then we get the revelation that Ellen is Zane's brother. Ah!
Yeah, this is my favorite chapter so far. Just chapter 18.
Good. It's so good.
And it's very short, but it's got the most impact in this book, at least.
Yes. And before he leaps away, he finds a message from their spy in the palace. Fuck. So, Zane is getting information from Ellen's palace and taking it back to Straff. So,
yeah, he's the messenger.
Yeah, exactly. So Zane is...
That was what I was saying. He's got the ulterior motives. But also, I feel like there's some genuine feelings toward Vin.
I agree. So Zane is back at Camp Straff, and while he comes up on some guards, God will not shut up about killing them. Damn, God, chill.
Yeah, we don't know who God is.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking perhaps it is the deepness.
Okay.
Or the mist. I don't know. The way
Okay.
you just said okay tells me no.
No, I'm taking in your predictions.
Are you taking him in?
You don't need to
Taking him in and
read into
shitting
every
all over me with
little
your
shift of my
eyes.
eyes and everything just to see if I'm approving of your little predictions or not. Just
My little predictions.
just enjoy the
demean
book.
me more, sir. Your little prediction.
your cute little prediction.
But we don't know who God is. That's the point. And it's so interesting because it's just every person. Kill him. Kill him. I don't know why I get chills every time.
It's so good
because I don't know what it is.
Well, and you put yourself in Zane's shoes and be like, oh my God, what would my mental well-being be like if I had somebody in my head whispering, kill them all the time?
Oh, what, you don't? Me neither.
Oh,
I'm kidding. No, that would be insane.
yeah. I'm glad things went well when we met for the first time.
Well, backing up to this story, Zane told Vin specifically that he is insane, and this is why he thinks he's insane.
Yeah,
because he's hearing voices.
He's very upfront about that fact. Yeah.
So another little Brandon Sanderson nugget that later gets described.
Yep. Exactly.
Love it.
We get some interesting insight into Zane's backstory as he waits to meet with his father. Quote, yet a part of him acknowledged that if Straff hadn't kept his bastard son hidden for most of his life, Zane might not be the powerful weapon that he was today. That secrecy had forced Zane to live a life of near squalor, while his half-brother Elend had been privileged. Now, while rumors were growing about the existence of Straff's Mistborn, few realized that Zane was Straff's son.
Yeah, so this is where we find out that he is his half-brother.
Yeah.
But also Straff seems like a rather promiscuous man, so he may not even know who his mother is, kind of a thing.
Plus, living a harsh life has taught Zane to survive on his own. He had become hard and powerful, things he suspected Elend would never understand. Unfortunately, one side effect of his childhood was that it had apparently driven him mad. Yeah, that's pretty tough. Zane is finally meeting with Straff in his personal tent and updating his father on what's up. All the while, God is telling him to kill him. And then Zane takes a dinner knife and cuts his own arm to help him resist the temptation. I mean, this dude is like hardcore.
I mean, it does say that this was the hardest one for him not to give into, the killing of his father, because he doesn't like his father.
He hates him, yeah. We also learn that Straff is still hung up on the Lord Ruler's ATM. So, Zane's main charge is to find out where it supposedly is, despite our crew having no idea.
Nobody knows. It's non-existent.
Yeah, it's just like, where the hell is it? Throughout this scene, we're getting inner dialogue from Zane about Vin. Quote, there was a part of all this he wasn't telling Straff. She is coming to trust me, he thought. And there's something else about her. She's like me. Perhaps she could understand me. Perhaps she could save me.
Okay, so this is a good, once again, to bring it back to romantasy. Sorry, listeners, if you don't care about that. But here we are. There's a big, I can fix her. She can fix me. This trope kind of a thing. And this is what we have right now with the Shadow Daddy.
Yeah. It's not even I can fix him. It's she can fix me.
She can fix, like he's aware that he needs help. So there's a softness to him also.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just he wants to use her. I don't know. It's a nice little thing there.
It's interesting, yeah. And, oh yeah, by the way, as they're about to have tea, Straff sniffs poison on his cup and calls out Zane for trying to assassinate him, then sends off the girl who served him the tea to be executed.
So what's funny is I listened to chapter 18 at work today, and it was so quick. I felt like I missed some stuff because I was taking notes as I was, thinking about it and working and stuff. And then I think I need to listen to this again. So I listened to it again on the way home. I'm like, oh, I missed the fact that he tried to poison him because it was so quick.
Yeah.
And then later I was like, why does he need healing potions for what happened? And then when I re-listened to it.
Yeah. Well,
if you listen to it, it's only 20 minutes.
Yeah. And Straff is like, oh, this is like a normal Tuesday for me.
And he plays it off so quickly that you don't, if you blink, you miss it.
So as we were saying, as Straff is sending off Zane, Straff just drinks the poison tea like it's a tasty hot cocoa. And so we are now in Straff's POV. And when Zane leaves, Straff is like, God damn it. I gotta hurry. Bring me Amarantha. Which, by the way, Amarantha is the name of a character in ACOTAR.
Yeah. The minute I read that, I was like, oh, that sounds like Amarantha from ACOTAR.
And Amarantha, who is apparently one of his mistresses, also happens to be a very skilled herbalist. There's like 10 moments in a single paragraph here that make me absolutely hate Straff's guts even more. But this one is just an encapsulation of it all. Quote, Straff hadn't brought all of his mistresses with him on the trip, just his 10 or 15 favorites. Literally, fuck this guy, by the way.
It's like, oh, it's not good.
Yeah, he's the worst. Mixed in with the ones he was currently betting were some women that he kept for their effectiveness rather than their beauty. Amarantha was a good example. She had been quite attractive a decade before, but now she was creeping up into her late 20s. Oh my fucking God.
Oh, I didn't realize his 20s.
Yeah, this guy sucks. He is getting surprisingly close to getting Cayman treatment from me. Like, I will potentially give him the L every single time that he is on the page. So, anyways, Amarantha quickly whips up an antidote for him and is on her way. When she leaves, Straff reflects. As long as he appeared strong before Zane, the Mistborn would continue to do as commanded. Probably.
I like the word probably.
Yeah, probably.
That's a good ending to that chapter, too.
So good.
A lot in that stretch of chapters, a lot of interesting things. Not a whole lot of, some answers, I guess. But there's some things being uncovered, but more excitement for me to read the next stretch of chapters.
Oh, yeah.
I hated stopping at 18. It's a terrible place to stop.
I know. Well, and it's like you get some answers, but all those answers spawn other questions.
Which is a great way. It means it's a great book.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Steven, it's time for our winners and losers of the week. Please go ahead and give us your winner first.
I'm going to say the winner is the Watcher / Zane. Not really a fan of the name. Not that it's a bad name. I just don't. I feel like it should be more brooding and dark and whatever. But whatever. So I'm a fan. I'll give him the win because he's the most interesting character to me now. And I'll give loser the asshole dad.
Okay, Straff.
Because he's a piece of shit.
He just sucks. It's
terrible.
I hate him so much.
But I like that he's in there because, and I've said this many times, but every good fantasy book needs a character that you freaking hate to read because it keeps you reading because you want to find out what happens to him.
Exactly. Okay, my winner this week is Orsur. I feel like we're finally getting to see his true personality come out, and I think he's kind of providing the only real comic relief that we're having in this story so far.
I don't know. I feel like Tindwell is pretty funny. Just her interactions.
Oh, yeah, you're right. She's
Ellen.
hilarious. Yeah, forget what I said. But still, I'm giving the win to Orsur. And my loser is Straff as well, for all the reasons that we've already listed.
Right.
Okay, Steven, Here it comes.
Okay.
It's time for you to look into your foggy, foggy crystal ball and let us know what you think is going to happen in the next set of chapters.
Hey, my crystal ball is becoming less and less foggy as we continue.
It's clearing up. You're
I got
putting
some stuff right. In
some Windex on it and wiping it off. Yeah.
Spit shine.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing, this is vague like you. We're going to find out more about God. Who is God? I don't think we're going to uncover who God is in the next stretch of chapters, but we're going to have some more puzzle pieces, hopefully.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to leave us hanging. Tyndwell is Sazed's, we can either go two ways. It's his close relative or his wife.
Okay.
Or a future wife. Maybe there's a romantic element, but let's go with sister. Sister-ish.
Okay.
Either way. I feel like they obviously know each other, so they're either really related or they're romantically involved.
Okay.
Let's see. They accidentally okay, I don't know when this is going to happen, but they're accidentally going to kill the wrong person thinking it's the imposter.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to be somebody of importance like Ham or anything like that, but it'll be somebody.
Okay.
Also, I think either Ham or Breeze is the imposter. And I started thinking about Breeze again. He may have all his ducks in a row to where he doesn't fit in the right timeline.
He doesn't.
He doesn't fit in the right timeline. No. Okay. So more so Ham.
So why are you... what does Ham have to do to earn your trust?
Nothing. I just thought it'd be funny to say Ham is the imposter. And then I started thinking about it like, okay, this would make sense with everything I've ever said initially about him. You
were right all along.
I was right all along by being kind of wrong at the same time. But his end was the same. So I'll say Ham is the imposter. I'm not going to 100% say that, but it would be cool.
Okay.
Also, Ellen has magic he doesn't know about. I've already stated that. He hasn't broken yet. And in the next stretch of chapters, Vin and Zane are going to kiss.
Oh.
And it's going to be a big thing. She's going to feel guilty.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got some good predictions
right?
this week.
It's because it's a freaking good... It was a good episode.
Yes.
It was a bunch of chapters we read.
I love it. Okay, everybody. That is it for our extra long episode 3 of our deep dive of Well of Ascension. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we hope that you will tune in with us next week when we cover chapters 19 through 25.
Yeah, also, if you love this podcast, please be sure to give us a 5-star rating. It helps us out tremendously. Review it on any podcast platform that you have, and give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Fantasy Fanfellas.
And lastly, if you loved this episode and you thought that Tyndwell was an absolute vibe, then this is the perfect episode to share with your friends. Okay, see you all next week for chapters 19 through 25. Bye!
Ka-chink.
As Ellen leaves to handle a few more things, Vin looks through the window out the window. That's amazing mastery of the English language.